Hello, everyone, and welcome to Band of Blades, where we are going to probably die horribly. I'm pretty sure. Um, it's We're on a new night, and we're in um, uh,
Sunstrider.
what was that? Longstrider. Yes, the new city of
It is on.
Longstrider.
Sunstrider.
Oh no.
Sunstrider. Yeah, it's, it's right there. I don't know why I'm getting this wrong.
It's all good.
Uh, I blame Alice. Yeah. How is everybody? Let's start with Alice. How are you doing? Anything exciting happened since last week?
I'm doing okay. Um, most exciting thing is I started making a game. That's the thing I'm doing now. Which I'm not super ready to talk about yet, but it's a thing I'm 100% doing, and I'm like really excited about it. So if you're interested in hearing more about that type of thing, I'll talk about that probably at the end when we do outros and stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. How about you, Jin? Anything exciting happening in your side of your neck of the woods?
Not really. Um, Playing City of Mist. That game is super rad. It's really funny having everyone try to guess people's characters. I've had like 4 people guess mine, and then I've had other people say things that I'm like, where, how? Send me bullet points on why you think that that's my character. So I'm having a lot of fun with that game. Might be starting a new job soon, so fun stuffs.
Are you excited about this job?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's gonna cut my work time in half.
Hey,
Yes, please.
Yes, please. That's about it.
Awesome. Um, how about Eric? Going
yeah,
in some kind of order.
Into the Breach. Oh my god.
That.
Into the Breach is really good, y'all. Basically Atlas Reckoning tactical war game. Real fun. I've been doing that, and I've just been thinking a lot about role-playing games and how I can't help but think about the next campaign, whatever that is, the next campaigns, I should say, plural. It's just one day I'll play them all, I think. I don't know. They every time it seems I strike one down, 2 more take its place. So I feel like that's pretty on brand here for Band of Blades, at least, in terms of hopelessness. And so I'm excited to play a game about my own existential gaming problems. So let's, yeah. So I'm excited.
All
All
right.
right.
Go right
I'm
ahead,
at the end of the
Strash.
list, so I'm just gonna jump right in. Hey everybody, I'm Strash, and oh man, it's been an RL super busy week for me. So if I'm looking a little tired and maybe not as peppy as my usual self, it's largely thanks to this. I did manage to get one game of Band of Blades with my home group in, and it was awesome, but we had a terrible session in terms of mechanics. Like, we had a great time, but just to let everyone know, even when you're playing with the designers, you know all the rules, you can still have a session where you lose 6 morale and 5 time in one location. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but I'm pretty excited to both play it and run it, and it's been a blast. I'm looking forward to this game too. I hopefully have some fun missions for everybody.
Missions.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
Back at you, Kelsa. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how your week's gone?
I got a dog. Well,
Oh yeah.
so, my dog is really cute, and I don't know why the video is frozen for you guys. It's fine on my end, so I can see what I'm doing, and so can the stream in theory. I got a tiny dog, and my lady's going to take her on a little walk, so it's pretty cool. Oh, she's jumping around and being a dog. That's pretty much it. So I heard there's some
All right.
missions.
So do we want to jump into game? Are we good?
jump 4 feet.
Yeah, good.
Alrighty, I did my homework. So I wrote up your mission briefings, and I put them in Roll20 so that everyone can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, you folks can see the little pop-up or whatever.
Yep.
It is. All right, so let's go over your missions for today. So if you folks recall, you advanced to Sunstrider Camp. So if you want to just give me a minute, I'm going to describe Sunstrider Camp to you so that everyone is kind of on the same page, just to like where we are at. Sunstrider Camp only has assault and scout missions available normally, and it has an assets rating of 1, which means that you can get stuff here, but it's not super like the trade and the ability to resupply is not magnificent. Big cities usually have an assets rating of like 2 or 3, or they have a 2 with like specialties kind of stuff. And roads and other kind of like in between areas tend to be a little bit more poor in the availability of stuff that you can get. So I'll just read you a little blurb for Sunstrider. Once a bustling trading post for plainsfolk, pilgrims traveling west and those heading north, Sunstrider Camp is now choked with refugees from the surroundings. The permanent structures here have provided a winter camp for the biggest of the horse clans of the plains, and the horse lord Tenesk and his riders have taken charge. They've fortified the winter camp further, opened their doors to the refugees, providing food and shelter to those unable to fight, but demanding that those that can join the frequent mounted raids on the undead. Many plainsmen ride into battle a unique type of local horse known for their speed, hardiness, and unruliness. Tales claim the horse's origin is divine, offspring of the Horned One, or a chosen blessing, their steed when dying. In Aldermark, they're called Furmine, or Firemanes. While undead top the list of the many problems the camp has, there are also a contingent of mountain bandits using the chaos of war to enrich themselves. Tenesk has been unable to mount a serious offensive against them, while the undead threat looms so very heavily. There are mountain shrines to the southwest. The people in this area cling to their faith, and for many, it's all that they have left. Many plan to make the pilgrimage and seek shelter and protection from the gods there. The plains east of the camp are full of a small enclave, or full of small enclaves of travelers, and there is no end of news from all over Aldermark here at camp. Almost all of it bad. Rumors abound of the Cinder King crossing the Tempest Sea to the south and heading eastward with his armies. So that's kind of the little blurb for Sunstrider Camp. You guys kind of get the gist of it. It's this kind of temporary encampment where people generally winter and whatnot, but it's been reinforced. So like the walls have been built out, like extra trees have been placed to like reinforce them, and there's these horse folk that are riding all around it. And that's kind of where the Legion sets up shop. So let me give you guys the pitch for the 3 missions that you're about to undertake. The first one is Operation Driving Gale. It's a 3 supply mission, which you folks having 0 supply sorely need. If you recall, it's thanks to Ginga's wonderful spies. Our spy master has managed to send one of the spies on a mission to find a good supply mission for you folks, and came back last time. And it's this big gruff Zimyade dude who essentially gives this explains that he crossed into Westlake, managed to sneak into town because the town is apparently like closed its gates to like random outsiders, right? And he managed to sort of look for allies or people that are willing to work with the Legion, and there was kind of like a priest who's like powerful politically, who was willing to maybe part with a fair amount. Like to him, he's like, oh, I'm willing to part with a pittance for you folks if you're willing to do me a favor. And so he negotiated a deal where you folks would go into the mountains southwest of here and fetch an artifact from a temple. And if you could bring that back and send it to Westlake, the dude was going to provide the money. And as the spy puts it, the deal sounds a little shady, but the money is good. He verified that the accounts are correct and everything else seems like in order. The other 2 missions that you have on deck are Operation Falcon's Nest, which is the Bandit King that I mentioned earlier has set up a camp in the Western Mountains. From there, he has access to both the west and eastern roads, and he preys on many. If he could be reasoned with, the bandits could be an asset against the undead. Dead, however, his raids on the refugees would end, and it would free up Tenesk's men from bandit duty. And finally, I'm gonna pitch this like a movie scene. It's called Operation Shining Waters. Um, there's this moment where like the missions are like I like to imagine that there is like a big camp, or maybe you guys like requisitioned a building and there's a table with like a huge map of the area, and like the commander, the marshal, and the quartermaster are all there along with the whisper, the spy master, and you folks are listening to sort of like available missions and about to make decisions like as to how it's going to happen. And, Alana's there and she's standing with her hood drawn, her eyes bound, like with a spear there listening. And as you folks are like talking about these missions and everyone's like stepping forward and giving a little pitch, the commander, she starts coughing, and then she starts coughing out blood, and then like her eyes turn this like bright green, and then she falls over. And like just as like everyone's like, what is going on? How is this, like what's happening? Like Alana rushes forward, turns the commander on her back and does like something where she like covers her eyes and her heart with her hands and like focuses. And the commander's like breathing stills and then stops. But like she doesn't like slump to the ground. She just like freezes almost like on the desk, like all the ink wells and stuff get like shoved off, etc. There's like a mess. And Alana tells everyone that the commander's been poisoned and she is maintaining the commander's life force for the moment. But what is necessary is for a squad to go to a particular Ostarian temple in the southwest and to find the high priestess there, tell her that her god has need of her, and to have her bring a sacred chalice with sacred water from the temple all the way here within the next 3 days, because she can only maintain the commander's life for like 3 days and 3 nights, and like on the morning of the 4th day, that's the dead commander. So that's the last mission. So yeah, what do you folks think? What do you feel like doing?
As the commander, I mean, we could. I really like the idea of that last mission, and obviously the commander's important and all, but we really need that supply, and I feel like the Legion is typically needs the many over needs the few, regardless of how important that few is. So
guess that depends on your commander.
I mean, as the commander, I think that's at least we've seen her once on screen, and I feel like that's the attitude she'd put forward. So I think I'm wanting to say mission 1 priority, mission 3 secondary.
What do the rest of you think? Do you have any input for your commander, or is this kind of the vote?
So I'm a little biased.
What was that? I'm sorry. You were a little biased in which direction?
Oh, wanting the supply, to have that first mission
okay.
be our primary mission.
Okay.
Like, I guess the commander's important too, so that secondary mission's fine, whatever.
It might also be worth noting that we get to bring 4 specialists on that first mission, meaning all 4 specialists are going to get
there are no
injured and stuff.
rookies.
Yeah, we like all get experience and stuff, which is a nice little boost if we.
But there's also no rookies to insta-give.
Yep.
You have no bonus lives.
No bonus lives, no morale penalties if your desperate rolls fails, thankfully. So.
Oh, specialists can take level 5 harm just as much as any rookie.
Fair enough, but it's a little different. Anyways, that's why.
Yeah, I would agree. Driving Gale, and then the secondary one is the Shining Waters.
Cool. So you guys will definitely be skipping on the mountain bandit that is raiding the local area.
It's fine. They'll stop eventually.
And they'll stop eventually when the undead come through and kill them all.
I love how you folks think that's how this story is going to go. But no, it's cool. It's totally cool. Yeah. One of just so that everyone knows, like I'm addressing the viewership rather than seriously, sheesh. This is why we can't have nice things. The one of the jobs of the GM is to make decisions in the fiction have consequences further in the story, which means that I am literally supposed to take account and stock of your decisions and then apply them moving forward. So like if you do a mission, that means a thing, but if you do not do a mission, that will guaranteed mean a thing. So it will be fine and everything will just go away is 100% my job to make sure it doesn't happen. So It's cool. No, it's impossible to do all 3 missions. And you folks have made your choices, which is fine. It's just important to make sure that each of the choices is relevant and not just, oh well, this mission has bad benefits, so who cares if we don't do it. So yeah, all right, cool. Sweet. So let's just jump right in. The mission that you folks are going on is a supply mission. So Eric, as the marshal, you have to decide who's going, and we'll make the engagement roll and all that stuff.
Well, yep. So I think the big thing we need to know about Operation Diving Gale is that it requires 4 specialists. We have 5. One of them is very injured, still our heavy. So I think we're not going to bring our heavy along on this mission.
No, they're not.
Our heavy is still the only one that has stress compared to everyone else.
Yeah, but count the stress track. It's 6. Like I have 2 more than most people do. I have the same amount you do.
You should also note that we only have 5 specialists, and our secondary mission is a scout mission, and so that requires a certain type of
Scout mission has
specialist.
to be either the sniper or the scout.
That's right. Our sniper's coming because our sniper's good, and or I could bring the scout only on the extreme condition that I do not play the scout. Because I can't roll.
You actually get to decide that as the marshal.
I know. You know, I'm feeling Gray Fading Wake's gonna have a good game today.
Okay.
I'm feeling it. So I think our scout's gonna go on our secondary mission. And then there's also a point of order of consolidating some of our squads of rookies I wanted to bring up with you. I know we were rolling in Lion and Vulture squad. However, also on roll 20, Bomb Squad only has 1 person.
Oh, does it?
I think
one.
I think Bomb Squad needs to get rolled into Hyena because Hyena only has 4 rookies. Well,
All right, got it.
now.
Done.
Okay.
Or
I just
almost
think, I
done.
think yeah, that's fine.
I gotcha.
I just want to make sure that's all set up.
And then, do you want Lion to become Vulture or Vulture to become Lion?
Shit, that's a good question.
Yes.
Vulture stands.
Okay, cool.
Vulture's the real king of the jungle.
Cool.
Do we want to send a fresh squad out for the secondary mission of rookies, or do we want to use one that we already have, like the Pharaoh's Hyena or Vulture?
Just using one of the ones we already have is probably a fair call.
Okay. I was leaning towards that, but I wanted to double check with everybody because cool. I'll send Hyena out, Shraj.
All right, cool. Sounds good. Hyena squad is.
Oh, and naturally, I'm sending the scout with them, right?
Of course, that sounds great. Okay. So we do the primary mission first, which means that your
engagement.
Your 4 specialists are gonna head in there. Sounds great. Yeah.
All right, let's do the engagement roll. All right, so before every mission, we assemble our dice pool. Oh wait, have we? No, there's one less extra step. I think is I didn't say who's playing who. Do we want to wear our old hats here? AKA, then I take the officer. Ginge, you take a Gray Fading Wake. Alice the heavy.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
And then I guess Kelsey gets the medic.
Unless someone wants to play the sniper.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure we know who we're looking at right now.
I like the medic, so I'm good with this layout.
Okay, great. Then that's the layout, Josh. Okay, back to the engagement roll. Legion loyalty. Are all on the mission oath sworn to the Legion? Yes.
Yeah.
Does any soldier distrust leadership or not fear them enough to obey orders?
Nah, I think we could.
We have our required specialists.
All of them.
Parameters are required. Oh wait, we did that one. Intel, we didn't spend intel. And veteran, everyone's on the mission as a specialist or soldier. So
it is for the first time.
First time.
We got
that's
2.
Nice.
We got that sweet 2. Is our pressure clock higher than 2? Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Supply mission ones, because it's a supply mission. The first one is, does quartermaster spend supplies on us? No, because we don't have any.
It's food actually.
Thank you.
Do you have any?
We spend food to equip our mission.
We do have food.
Yeah.
And
How much food?
we have 4 circles of food. No, 3 circles of food now. and then we're gonna spend one. So then, if we spend one now, we'd only have one left.
I'd say no.
Okay.
Okay, so we're not spending our food. And then the last one is the current pressure higher than 2.
Let's check. I do not believe so though, because we just advanced.
You just advanced, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Cool. Then stand by as I make my fortune roll. Primary mission. Rolling 2 dice.
Nice.
6. Hey, almost a crit. Almost.
So you folks are in a controlled position. So let me set the stage for you here. So you folks are spend like these specialists go out, you know, and you folks are kind of like old hats, right? Like you're kind of the badasses of the Legion. These specialists actually got sent out before everyone knew that the commander was dying. So you folks are like, you know, we've got like the montage of like the gorgeous kind of like Rocky Mountains, and like, you know, you folks are like trudging up everything, and you sort of like approach this small kind of monastery slash temple. There's some walls there, you know, there's obviously fields where the monks at some point were growing food of their own. There's like a fairly well-worn trail. You guess that somebody with like a donkey or something comes up here once a week to bring some supplies, maybe news, that kind of stuff. But as you walk in, it's got that classic kind of like ghost town look of the old west, where like, you know, you hear like the squeak of like a door like moving in the wind, and as you folks are like walking in and looking around, you realize that like this is a very old temple. It was built like hundreds of years ago, so like a lot of the stuff is well worn. Some of the buildings have like been damaged to the point where, you know, they couldn't be repaired. It looks like somebody was alive here even within this last year, because you see like stuff that's planted, you see like, you know, things growing in flower pots and windowsills, that kind of thing. But as you kind of like approach the temple proper yourself, you realize that you're not seeing anyone. There are some, they're not that old, but they're old enough that they're like brown and dry. There's some like blood stains and stuff here, so it's pretty clear that there was some form of a violence. But I don't know, do you guys have like a scout or a sniper or somebody with like a decent scout that might be looking around?
I have one in scout.
I'm a doctor.
I mean, I guess.
I should look at the character.
I think Gray Fading Wake and Goat would be scouting ahead.
Okay, so you folks, you should just roll some scout for gather information, just so that I can give you some info as you get it.
Just risky standard.
Yeah, go ahead. It's gather information. Go ahead and click risky standard, but there's no.
Well, okay. So do you want 2 people? Well, I volunteered both of us because we both have scout. Do you want us just roll 2d6 or just doesn't matter?
Just each of you roll it, and I'll give you like a little info based on what you roll.
Yep.
Also,
all right, just roll a d6. I got a 2.
nice.
I was gonna say I'm using my eye too to see if I see anything crazy.
So your eye will actually be the key to coming up with two pieces here, right? So the first one is your sniper, right? Like Gray Fading Wake is able to see that there are actually undead troops, but they are pulled back and they're watching you. So you're not sure why, but they're not aggressing, they're not approaching, they're not even like trying to block your way. They've like pulled back to the mountainsides, and you see a couple of them. Like there's like a couple of like ghouls or rotters that have like climbed up, and they're kind of like eyeballing down into like where you guys are wandering, and they're paying attention to what you're doing, but they're not like moving information to attack. There's none of that like rawr, you know, like undeadness. Something is actually like holding them on a pretty tight leash, and they seem to be letting you go in and do whatever it is that you want to do.
Okay.
And with that 6, I'll actually give you the second clue, which is you find that like you folks are going through rooms. You're like, is this the thing? No, this is not the thing. You have like a little drawing and some notes about what it is that you need, right? And it's like it looks like a goblet of some sort. And you're like, is this a thing? Nope. Is this a thing? Nope. And so like as you're going through the rooms, you're kind of looking for this item, right? And you don't find it in sort of like the standard abbey / monastery grounds. Like you toss rooms, you look into stuff, you find some like like a bushel of apples is still like there. There's things around that indicate that there was life here not too long ago, but like a lot of the food's gone bad. Like whatever it was has been dead for at least like a couple of weeks. But what you'll discover is that if you go into the actual like sanctum, like where the services and that kind of stuff looks like it was held, you can actually see that there is like a glow. Like your eye picks up kind of this like sigiled glow coming up from under the ground. And I'm gonna put you guys pretty close to the engagement roll here. Like you'll discover that there is actually a passageway down into a series of catacombs that seem to have been carved out. And that's sort of where the initial engagement is going to go. It looks like there's some sort of like, I don't know, buried mausoleum / tomb thing, but it's not small. There's like a path leading down, and that's roughly. Go ahead.
Is it Aldermani?
Do you have research?
Oh, you won't just be able to tell just from looking around. I'm not asking whose it is. I'm just asking based on the construction style.
It's complicated, right? Because like even the Aldermani culture changes over the course of a couple hundred years. Like architecture 100 years ago.
Requires a roll. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Anybody who has research can roll. Or anybody who has 0 dice can just throw 2 of them and see if you get lucky.
I'm gonna roll.
All right.
I'm a doctor. I know things.
Oh, badass. So I'll tell you a thing, actually. This is pretty interesting. The language here is the same language that the annals are written in. It's actually Old Empire script. And there are a lot of like old Empire drawings, and like they do mosaics in the walls, and they also use these like really kind of like bright tempera style paints that have faded over time. But like you definitely see like signs of it, like where it's like flaking and peeling. You can take a look at it and like, yeah, it looks like it's the right kind of thing. So it actually looks like this is a much older temple than necessarily Aldermani. The buildings above were obviously like rebuilt and repaired by the locals, so they may look a bit Aldermani, but the foundations and these catacombs are definitely not.
Awesome.
So with the information that Gray got, she's going to relay it to the rest of the group and just keep an eye on the people. She has a lantern with her because all of my characters have lanterns with them. It's very useful. So she'll take it and put it right next to where it goes down into the mausoleum crypt area, and just kind of motion with her head that she's going to go down and take a look. So she'll put her gun away and take out her knives, and so she can hold the lantern.
All right, super cool.
So just so I'm aware, so like the undead are like above us, like in the outside, like outside the. Cool.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, she would have pointed that out if anyone wants to keep watch to see if they advance or anything.
That's more frightening than them attacking us.
I guess the only thing, Goat's in charge, right? Goat's the officer, so officers de facto in charge. Even if we were all specialists, he's still like.
Yeah.
So I guess it would be worth like looking at Goat and being like, should we barricade the door just in case they decide not to stay up there, or give us a little warning?
I don't feel comfortable sealing ourselves in.
Especially since they don't even want to go near whatever's down there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think what I say is I think they're more afraid of what's down here than a sealed door. So no.
Sounds like a reason for us to go.
We haven't found the item yet, right?
No.
I meant down there.
Oh, okay. I was like, but the thingy. She'll probably look down there like she's okay with the dark because she can see pretty well, and she usually has her, is sitting on a ridge somewhere in the dark, but small spaces where she can't use her sniper. She's like, and sticks the lantern down there first and kind of sticks her head around with her and
Yeah.
looking with her eye, and then we'll proceed down.
I think there's a moment totally where it's like there's that hesitation, and like Ram goes ahead of you and like says like look over my shoulder with the eye like type deal. Like I'm in front of you, you be our eyes. I'm just like I'm the wall between you and everything else.
She's like, yeah, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Literal shield wall with just your body. It's great.
Yeah.
It's
I
perfect.
am the shield.
So I'm gonna say a thing, which is, so you folks kind of like hop in, right? You're being cautious, and it sounds like Ram in front with Gray fading wake right behind.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A few feet, but like a foot behind or so, yeah.
Cool. And as you folks start moving, Ram, are you huge?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you have to kind of bend over, and a lot of the time, like your shoulder armor is scraping against the sides of the walls, right? And so, like, as you're moving forward, a lot of the time you have to walk kind of like this because there's not a lot of space. Do you have a shield?
I do. It's a tower shield.
Yeah, it's not really gonna fit in a lot of these spaces, just so you know.
Okay.
So like there's a lot of times where you have to kind of like turn it sideways and kind of like shove it a good 5-10 feet down the corridor and then kind of squeeze yourself through and then try and pick it up again. And as you go, there's a couple of rooms to the side, and if you take a peek inside them, again, like they're not sealed, they're just like doorways with like a carved out kind of circular room. It's got paintings and stuff, like murals on the walls. You actually see pictures of like battles depicted. Like there's a lot of soldiers in black armor and stuff that are fighting like you're not sure what, like enemies. Some of them like are strangely portrayed. Some have like golden armor, things like that, right? So like you're seeing some of these carvings. You're seeing some of this text. The doctor can read Old Empire as the role established, but there is a moment where you guys are still going through kind of like the blackness when you see it's like dug in recesses into the walls, like alcoves, and there are actually dead soldiers inside them. So there's this moment where you like turn a corner, right? Like there's like the path forks, and as you turn the corner, you come face to face with like this ancient dead with like combat armor and a sword and a shield in front of it, like stuck inside the wall inside one of these alcoves. Um, just a little detail. What do you guys do?
Gray sees them trying to get through and like having issue. She's used to having to like crawl into like undercover into a bush or something on a hill. So she's just like probably unnecessarily doing that, crawl really fast, sees the dead people and is like, nope, and just keeps going.
So this.
I asked the doctor. Oh, go ahead.
I was just be like, I mean, I'm looking at this thing's sword, obviously. First of all, like, this
I order you not to touch it.
So I'll give you 2 bits of information. The first is that the sword seems to be in a lot better shape than it should be.
Yeah.
Like this thing, its armor is still, you'd say, relatively functional. It's not in good shape. Like it's been sitting underground for like 200 years, but it still looks like usable.
Right.
And that sword isn't just rust.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm ordering you not to touch it, Alice, is because I want the doctor to research it first.
She wasn't touching it. She's just like,
I know, but
essentially, she was looking to see if there was blood on it from those guys.
I know, but you were like, I saw you eyeing it, and I was like, stay off it, soldier. Doc, what do you? It's like, Doc, what's the diagnosis? You know what I mean? Something like quippy like that. I wasn't being.
Yeah.
I would totally want you to
Perfect.
use
We're
the
not
sword
rookies.
if
We know you're not
possible.
being mean to us.
Yeah.
I love that
Stay-
quip.
Rest of you stay frosty, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What else can I tell from this?
Give me a research roll.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any danger here?
Yes, it's risky, but not immediately obvious why.
Okie dokie. Let's do it. That's a 4. Okay.
Awesome.
Sure.
So here's the deal. your engagement roll said that you guys are going to be in a controlled position when trouble starts. Part of what your research roll was trying to tell me is I was trying to ascertain when trouble starts. So you are sitting there studying this blade, and you're like trying to read the inscription, and it's something about dead, forever, lie, guardians of, and you actually see a couple of words. You're like, hang on a second, I think it's talking about grinning ravens. Are these like old legionnaires or something? And Gray Fading Wake, your eye picks up something. So your eye can clearly identify supernatural forces. And you can actually see that inside the like skeletal structure of this thing, there is a weird kind of like ignition of power. Like it's
That just started.
Oh yeah, it turns on, right? Like it's standing there like holding its sword like perfectly dead, and then all of a sudden like you spot it, so you're able to like give a warning or take an action. You're still in a controlled position, but it begins animating, right? Like so.
Okay.
So
the first thing she does when she's
De-animate
laying
it.
on the ground, the first thing she does laying on the ground goes, nope, takes out her sniper, puts her back to a wall, down, and just waits for her to drop.
Yeah. Green Fading Wave drops because
You just see,
you
guys, if you were paying attention, but you guys would see, because we're in a dark area, you'd see her eye light up red, so you would know being around her enough.
oh,
Yep.
okay, cute.
If you look at her once she yells, you'll know what it is.
I think like everyone drops, and I think she's like your plan's to shoot it, right?
No, I'm just waiting for it to move because I don't want to like cause sounds in here, and it's a small area and it can crumble. And she's going through all this in her head. She just doesn't want anyone near it in case, because it has a sword. You guys could kill it. Just be careful.
Awesome. Unsurprisingly to anyone, especially because your sniper warns you with plenty of time to react, you see the like dust of the aegis start like raining down from its pauldrons, and then you see just like a twitch, and then it like it doesn't like slowly stand up, but like you hear that the ligaments and the connective tissue that is like it's dry, it's old, right? Like all of the undead that you've been fighting have been like, for lack of a better term, juicy, right? Like
I
they're,
had in mind. Ugh.
yeah, they're like fresh, right? Like even the heartless have giant gaping holes where blood is still dripping. And this thing is ancient and old and different. It's not at all like the Cinder King's animating force, right? Like so it stands up, and as it does that, you hear the sound, and it's like musculature and ligaments actually snap as it's like moving. But it takes up this like flawless stance. Like the sword just like comes up, and it just goes like into a pretty standard like battle routine as it starts like attacking like a trained warrior.
Yeah. So you mentioned Tower Shield wasn't able to fit in here, correct?
It can. It's just going to impede you. It's probably going to give you less effect on most of your actions.
Okay, then yeah, it was dropped. I think like I mentioned it had fucking like blades at the bottom right at one point.
Sure.
In the first thing.
Yeah.
I think she like stuck it in the ground behind like in front of the entrance to act as like a sort of like if someone needs for cover, you can run behind it type deal. But yeah, I'm gonna fucking like essentially like you said, it's like it goes through like almost trained motions, like kind of like more like a like I also say it looks more like a trained routine than like actual like straight up going to kill us immediately type deal. So like I think I'm like fucking like no, stand back, stand behind me. This is what the shit I do, and there's not enough room for the rifle, so I think I'm going to engage it.
Cool. So this sounds like just like a risky skirmish roll.
Sure, that makes sense. I have a mace, so I think most of the time it's like I'm kind of like circling it and like trying to like get like keep everyone away with like. Ideally, at some point, maybe I can get like a clear shot for Gray, but for now, standard. I don't want to push myself, and I don't really. No, I'll unless anyone wants to assist. I think I'm okay.
Sounds good. You're 1v1ing an ancient undead.
That is a crit.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I'd like this to end with some sort of explosions of sinew and bone, but tell us what that looks like. It's an old ancient warrior that's skilled, but you're going to demolish it.
I think it's literally like the same thing. Like it's a skilled warrior, and I think like the first bit it like drops down and like I circle it and it circles me, and then we go and like trade some blows. And I think at some point I like grab one of its arms and like it's still like a undead, right? So I think at one point I like rip off the arm that was holding the sword and mash its head with the flail, and its just head just goes like spraying in dust and sinew, and yeah, it falls to the ground.
Cool. Ginge, Great Fading Wake, sees the weird kind of, I want to call it almost like strange flamey or like kind of like heat shimmer that is its animating force. Like when the body is wrecked and destroyed enough, it kind of like folds in and descends into its chest area, almost like it's hiding in the heart, right? And then it starts diminishing and like goes back to that almost non-existent state that it was in before this thing moved.
Is it completely gone?
I'll answer this like so that you understand, because I'm not trying to be cagey about this. The answer is no, it is not completely gone, but it is effectively just remnants at this point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because she would know if it's dead versus like dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get the sense that you're not sure. Like I'm just, this is not necessarily what I'm saying it is, but I'm just trying to give you an idea. Like if somebody was cursed in some fashion, ripping apart their body may not end the curse, but it may not be able to affect them or work the same way or whatever. You're not 100% sure because you're not a magician, you're not an alchemist, you don't have proper training in weave or anything. So like to you, this is just like a weird glow you're seeing, and I'm trying to translate it in sort of like direct ocular
Is that
import.
a Banner Saga reference?
No.
Okay, sorry. Weave is a type of magic in Banner Saga. Anyways.
Weave is actually a skill on the sheets. If you have the actual like formal sheets, there's a weave skill, and that's how you use alchemy and mercy abilities and other things.
Cool.
So yeah.
Gray would sit back up like, okay, and look over to Goat and just, do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, by all means, lead the way.
Fuck. You just hear her, she just
mean,
keeps
it's like,
going. When
what?
she's crouch walking at this point, she just got her sniper out.
It's like, what? Do you want me to extend that thing an invitation to the Legion? Keep going.
Cool.
I think it already was Legion according to our medic.
That's actually a thing I want to
Maybe.
point out, by the way, Medic. There are two interesting facts here.
Yeah.
One of them is that this might be some sort of old Legion garb. You're not 100% sure. I mean, maybe you can take some of it back, compare it to some of the notes in the annals. Like, that's totally a thing.
Okay.
The other thing is, this is not undead in the way that you folks have been fighting. So you're not. I can't draw
other
conclusions.
Different type of undead. Interesting. I guess. Yeah, he's gonna point that out. Whatever this was, it's not like we fought before.
Yeah, there's usually a lot more guts when I shoot things.
It's not just
Sounds
that.
like
It's a different type of. I've seen various creatures of his army in the past. Strange new things that are, invented. But this is different and old. Not sure where I'm going with this, but
Right.
whatever this was, it's not the same enemy that we face outside.
Oh, they're all gonna be dead soon anyway. And you just see her like awkwardly crawling with her sniper.
Yeah. If there's no way to get them to help us fight the undead, then they're no use to us.
Business first.
You're not a group of historians, it seems like.
Well, it sounds like your medic maybe. So medic, if you want to
Yeah,
take some notes and maybe make some rolls when you get back to camp, those might be
sure.
something interesting.
I'll take some
Cool.
notes.
Do you actually like bring like a field journal or something like on your trips? I'm curious.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not it's not reflected in a gear list for a soldier, but I'm just curious.
I think it definitely does. Like,
Do you like sketch pictures of places you've been, or is this just like notes?
probably more like of like the herbology. Like, I'm not even sketching pictures of the undead. I'm like sketching pictures of flowers. Like the one untrampled flower that we passed, you know?
Do you pick up any and like do little flower pressings like
Oh, definitely flower pressings. Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to get a little bit of like a personality of our doctor. Like
Yeah,
some people when they go on missions, like our officer here is very clearly like they can't help us kill those guys. What do you say? Let's roll. But I'm just trying to kind of
well, he's
explore a
shrewd
little
and
bit.
strange. So
Yeah. Cool. So there's this next moment where you folks are walking through the hallways. Who is in the lead this time? Is it still our heavy with the sniper right behind? Is that like the standard formation?
Gray just started walking, so unless Ram caught up, Gray's in the front with her sniper because she's like, I'm gonna see this thing first.
Yep. So there's I'm just gonna fast forward because like we're not playing Dungeons and Dragons per se, so it's not super relevant whether you turn left or turn right. I figure that you folks have some notepads, like see your doctor. You can like make some markings on walls. You can take some notes in notepads.
Yeah.
So a lot of this like decision pointing where you're like exploring empty rooms and things like that, I'm just gonna fast forward through and we're gonna try and like get to a couple of the like more interesting beats, maybe explore them, linger on them a little while, and then continue going forward. And we'll just jump right forward to one of those interesting beats. Gray, I like since you're in the lead and you're kind of going up front. There's a moment where it's a series of steps and they're descending further down. This area actually seems like a little bit more worked. At one point, you folks you go down a little ways, and about halfway down that staircase, there's actually like a large metal gate, and it's barred. It looks like it has like a key, but unlike D&D dungeons, there is no clear key laid out somewhere nearby that you could have found and been like, aha, and like walked over and opened the door.
right.
You've just got like a shitty metal grate in your way and no easy way to get through it, but this seems to be the only way forward, so to speak. The other tunnel that you found that's headed sort of like further out had collapsed, and there's just like a bunch of rocks and rubble there. And it's obviously it hasn't been collapsed because like somebody set up explosives. It looks like it collapsed from age. Like these tunnels are very old. So yeah, the path down is there's this giant nasty metal like grate, and that's what's between you and where you need to go. What do you guys do?
Is there like a gate with an opening with a lock, or is it literally just like a metal enforcement?
There is a lock. There totally is a lock, but it's like a 200-year-old metal lock, and there's no obvious key.
I look and like, do you want me to break it? Like...
If somebody has Tinker, you might be able to pick it. But like, yeah.
I don't have Tinker, but I think it would be funny to try with one of my knives.
Please do.
Give me a controlled Tinker roll, even if you have 0 dice. I mean, you can push yourself. Someone can assist.
It's too stressed to push, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Why not?
Yeah, that's why.
The point snaps off.
Yeah, so that's almost exactly what happens. There's a 1 to 3 result on controlled, which says this is not a way you can go forward. So you jam your knife in, you try and like leverage it, and you've got like 100 years of rust, right? Like this lock isn't turning. You even feel something catch, but it doesn't go up all the way, and you can't like rotate it. And yeah, sure enough, like your knife blade actually like chips, and like you're just like, yeah, this is not a way forward.
I think Ram chuckles, by the way, and then shoulders fine wrecking tools off of her shoulders, like, you want me to take a crack?
Yeah. Just
Cool.
gonna back up a little bit.
I'm gonna take like a fucking like a crowbar, actually I think it's more like a hammer and like a stake or something, and just hammer it and just try and break it off that way.
Awesome. Why don't you give me a controlled wreck?
Cool. Fine wrecking tools help at all?
Yes, they give you quality over the lock.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I kind of imagine you're just like putting an iron spike right through the lock with
That's-
a
I
hammer.
mean, I just imagined Ram just taking a shoulder to it, but
Yeah.
you know.
that's
Yeah.
Have we tried just
Ram,
opening it
Ram
yet?
bashes it and it's like, what do you know? They left it unlocked.
Is it definitely locked? I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
I will assume that all of you, so like this is not kind of like micromanagement D&D style. Like I assume that all of you are like competent professionals that have had to deal with some things like this before.
Yeah. we were just I was just joking at Ram's nonchalance.
Yeah, for sure.
You forget it.
All right, Ram. See that wreck?
Controlled standard.
Yeah, control standard.
Okay. That's a 6.
That's a 6. Yeah,
Very
so gate pops open almost like it wasn't locked. It was. But do you have a quip or?
I think
Gray
it's
walks
like,
by. I loosened it.
sure you did, kiddo.
Awesome. So there's a
Wait. I think Red's got
is
Cut the
So
shit,
it-
you all. You know, like unless you want this to be your last and only base of operations.
so the last question that I have is who's in front going down the staircase, the rest of the staircase?
It's opened up, right? The tunnel's
Oh
open.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll let
Yeah.
Ram go first. After you.
So it's right in the middle of that line, right? Like the officer's like, cut the shit, you two, and it's about to finish the rest of the line when Ram, with her full weight, steps on a specific stair, and there's this like slightly weird kind of like stone sound, and there's a click, and then the hallway that you're in just gets filled with fire. We should take a break.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm actually going to stop the stream for a few minutes. I need to restart my computer. Hopefully that'll help the audio issues which have been plaguing me off and on. So I promise we're gonna be back in about 5 to 7 minutes, and I will throw the music up as soon as I finish restarting. So I'm gonna put it on a break screen.